Hello, this is Tia and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another Lovely World theory. We are doing something that's both new and old, but we're just diving into a concept that I just came up with, and they were like, hey, why don't we just talk about this, like, these kind of stuff, because as of recording this, Lovely World hasn't come out yet, and even if I had this out, I wouldn't be able to do anything, because at least for the first 11 episodes, which is 11 weeks, there's no hints about Hit the Target already. For all I know. So at least it'll be a while before we find out anything about Hit the Target. But in the meantime, let's dive into something that Hit the Target may or may not know about. Are the dimensions of the Lovely Waterfall and Mirror World the same? Yeah. Here's an overview, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, which may be the case. Because, yeah, probably is the case. Because there are old people who don't know about Mirror World and new people who don't know about Lovely Waterfall. Both episodes in Lovely World, both in the description if you want to check them out. Feel free to check them out. Even though the scenes that happen are pretty short, yes, they do exist. In the Lovely World, there are two instances where Hit the Target has transported Stampy outside of his Lovely World. One as a ghost in the episode Lovely Waterfall, and the other in the Mirror World, through a portal that he strategically placed in front of Stampy's house. The first instance, in the episode Lovely Waterfall, Hit the Target transported Stampy into what appears to be a dream-like state where the cat is surrounded by darkness and cake with a sign from Hit the Target saying, "Revenge will be mine." Yes. Hit the Target then attacks him before Stampy wakes up. An arrow listing all this. Detail. In the second instance, Hit the Target lures Stampy out of his world through a portal into an in-between dimension of sorts, where neither of them can hurt the other, trapping Stampy in the mirrored version of his Lovely World after a few words are spoken. It is complete darkness at this point, except for the light from the portal. Today, we will be diving into the idea of whether or not these two instances are somehow connected to a dimension that has not quite been understood. Are these two instances separate from each other, or are they the same place, just with different circumstances? Let's find out together. Possible theories: either it is not just two separate places or the same. Do this. One theory is the idea that these two instances take place in two separate dimensional worlds, not related to each other in any way. We do not know how Hit the Target was able to access these dimensions twice, and whether or not he may use them again. One example in this theory is the fact that in the Lovely Waterfall, Hit the Target was unable to speak, only approaching Stampy with an extended bow in a threatening fashion. He did not say anything, nor did he need to. In Mirror World, on the other hand, we see that Hit the Target can speak with ease, explaining that he can speak because they are outside of the Lovely World, which confirms the idea of at least one other dimension other than Mirror World. Whether or not there are more is yet to be seen. Another example of this is the fact that the two instances are completely different. One is full of cake as far as the eye can see, while the other is complete darkness on every side. They are both separate scenes and have no correlation with each other, meaning they have to be separate, but do they really? Yes. My theory is that these two scenes that happened years apart from one another occurred in the same dimension, separate from the Lovely World, still existing. It's nothing like the Nether or the End, which has been separate from the Lovely World until recently. Now you can get it. A dimension only Hit the Target knows about, and perhaps understands. This is proven by the fact that he knows that the dimension will not allow the two enemies to harm one another. As we know from Lovely Waterfall, the scene ends when hit a target trying to attack Stampy, which echoes back to this moment here. There are very similar rules here in this strange dimension. But wait, there's still more. How would you explain how Hit the Target can't talk in Lovely Waterfall, but can in Mirror World? Well, simple. In the Lovely Waterfall, Hit the Target was still a ghost, unable to speak outside of the Nether. Perhaps he discovered this dimension as a way to get to Stampy. But once he returned to the Lovely World, he was unable to access it till he created the portal. Perhaps he discovered this dimension as a way to get to Stampy. But once he returned to the Lovely World, he was unable to access it until he created the portal. And once he did, though, he had a way to lure Stampy out of his world and do more than he had been capable of doing before. As for the change in scenery, that works too. After all, Hit the Target can have it any way he wants it to be. Maybe it's something that Stampy feels comfortable with, like a sea of cakes, because, you know, cakes, or an abyss of nothingness, holding uncertainties that lies ahead. It masks, however, the people within our feeling. Stampy's perhaps are just stronger, and probably what we see. There is still so much we don't know about this between-world sort of dimension. We know that those within cannot harm each other, and that it has the capability to cross worlds. Would this explain how Hit the Target was able to momentarily haunt Stampy in his videos with Revelation? It's possible. This is only a theory, however, and none of it has yet to be confirmed. Still, I will be on the lookout for anything that could give a hint to what or where exactly this dimension is, and more about it. It certainly is intriguing. Conclusion. Because that's important. Either of these two theories could be possible, but it would make far more sense if this between-world-like dimension was the same one in both situations, just in different circumstances. We do not know everything about this dimension, or what it is capable of, but Hit the Target appears to know more about it than Stampy actually does, since he may have crossed through this world several times. Hopefully, we do learn more about this strange dimension that we have discovered, since at first, it all just seemed like a dream in the Lovely Waterfall, but clearly wasn't. Something's up, and I'm curious to see what happens next in this story. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, this was an interesting one. As we know, there are certain behind-the-scenes things you could possibly comment, but I would recommend not, because I'm more discussing the lore rather than what we know, like where the phases are, because they're actually not in the same world, but in the lore state they could be in the same dimension. Just to clarify, there's the difference between the behind the scenes and the lore. Whether it's intended by Stampy or not, I don't know. But it's just a theory anyway. Hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you when the next time, I'll see you whenever that might be. Bye.